I was looking to find a way of painting an overlap of memory and a narrative about empathy and disgust and feeling like you need to hide something that is a desire. If you just read it as an illustration, it's a little girl who's hidden this corn in a drawer in a dark corner of a bedroom, and she's waited till she's alone, she's gone in there and, you know, she's found it and she's eating it. It is somewhat autobiographical, although I didn't actually hide corn, but I did once eat about 5 or 6 ears of corn until several of my teeth fell out, several of my baby teeth, and there's something really disturbing about that, and the similarity of corn to teeth, and so eating and teeth falling out. There's definitely the idea of, consumption being a way of dealing with internal struggle. These girls have been interrupted, in the middle of an act, and the act is that they're comforting themselves with these unknown objects. Well, the food references, a lot of it has to do with really enjoying food myself. Also, growing up and going to visit my grandmother, who's German, and cooked a lot of strange food it was like abject food in a way, because there's something like really repulsive about cabbage, yet it's delicious. Not everyone would say that, but I think it is. And so, the pimento loaf, the souse loaf, also liverwurst and things like that were very much a part of my childhood. It was like this thing slightly repulsed me, yet I knew that it would be pleasurable to take it in somehow. And this is definitely a recurring theme and area of interest for me, is like a conflict, and how, it's not necessarily resolved, so it's not like one wins over the other, it's just you stay in that point of conflict, and that's what's most interesting to me, is to stay there. Part of the reason why I layer in thin paint is so that I can wipe things out and cover them and change the story as I go. Although in the end, the illustration of the details is important to me, the actual details of the storytelling are not as important as the idea of fear or disgust or empathy or that sort of thing. This is a toy within a toy. It's a cow and some dirt. Initially I put this together as a drawing toy. You would be able to shake it and then draw the different configuration. By shaking it, you're creating a plot that's either tragic or comic, dependent on how the cow lands in the box. I'm interested in the similarity of the tragic and the comic plot, and how the relationship of the viewer in terms of how they empathize with the character, how that determines whether it's a comic or tragic plot. So this is, Aristotle and poetics. After making them, I started to become interested in, how the tool itself becomes a piece of art for display, and how there's a freshness to things that are put together not for display, that you can't really fake, and you almost have to trick yourself. So I don't know if somebody else accepts this as a finished piece of art, but to me, I think it's better. Maybe better for me, more interesting for me, more fun. We're in South Philadelphia, in an area called St. Monica's Parish, which is south of Snyder, and on the west side of Broad Street. It's a family neighborhood, lots of people on their stoops and kids playing outside and people having domestic disputes in public. And I like being able to hear people on the street talking and, kids laughing. And there are these two little girls that play at the end of the block. When I walk home I pass them, so in the summertime I see them all the time, and they're really sweet. And there's this dark little stairway that goes down to a door, and one time I was walking by and I think I startled this one little girl, and she was standing down there and she looked up at me like, I think that's going to make it into a painting, because it was just, I don't know, there was something really sweet about it. And I like, the way that kids have their private little world, and that being sort of interrupted, like you come across it, and it takes you back to that place and reminds you about, that world that is so separate from the adult world,